Hey guys, welcome to another MaliceCast TV talk. We are recapping Supernatural, episode 14 of season 13 tonight. It is Good Intentions. And in my notes, I put parentheses, the road to hell. I think that was supposed to be the subtext anyway. I am ICZorro. I'm going to be hosting this thing as usual. And joining me, as always, our supernatural expert, Miss Superwhovian Freak herself. How's it going, Super?
I didn't die in Vegas. Aren't you guys proud of me?
Well, it depends on what kind of parties you went to.
I know. I adulted. That was my first solo adult vacation. How sad is that?
Nice. Okay. Well,
I picked a good one though. Picked a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of stuff did you do there? I know you went to a bunch of different panels. I saw a plethora of shots of you and pretty much the entire cast, it looked like.
Pretty much the entire cast. All of the 23 stars that were there, I met a good chunk of them. I think the only ones that eluded my grasp were the two main stars, obviously, because Jared and Jensen are very hard to pin down. Oh, I take that back. I high-five Jared Padalecki. So screw all of you people. Okay. All right.
Die happy.
There was that. And then, but you know who escaped me? Alex.
Really?
Yeah. I went up to ask a question because they were going through. He goes through his questions a lot faster than the bigger stars. So I went up to ask a question, and then right as I got up there to ask a question, they came out to end the panel. So I was like, oh well, next time.
Are you sure you didn't really run into him? But it was like you thought it was Misha.
It's very possible. It is very possible because they do look freakishly similar. But it was a lot of fun. I mean, we had the game night, so I got to play Supernatural Cards Against Humanity with Osric Chow and Gil McKinney, who plays Henry, and the girl that plays Alex, Kat Ramdeen.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was a lot of fun. They're dirty. Those are dirty birds. Don't let their innocent faces fool you. Osric, I think Osric kicked all of our butts. He was there for 15 minutes and he got 5 cards. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Are you just a savant? So.
Well, the key to winning that game is just put the most twisted stuff you can think of down. It works for me.
And it was really fun having it be Supernatural style. I didn't even know they made a Supernatural Cards Against Humanity. That was ridiculous. I didn't know
that either. You also went to some of the cast karaoke stuff. How did
that?
I know there was a delay getting to one of them, but how did that work out?
How hard is it when you've run how many of these conventions have they run at least 100 a year, 80 a year, and you've been doing it for 12 freaking years? How do you mess up an autograph session? How do you do it? How do you screw up so bad that it takes 4 hours to get one autograph?
That
is talent. Much. That is supernatural talent right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they made us late to karaoke. And it wasn't even the fact that I didn't get picked, because I never get picked. I knew my name wasn't going to get drawn out of the thing. I haven't won anything in a drawing since 2nd grade. But it was the fact that it cost me the opportunity to be up by the front of the stage because I lost the time to go stand in line. So we were smushed in the middle, and I couldn't record anything because people were all tall in front of me. So.
And which autograph signing was it that was delayed like that?
It was the one for David Hayden Jones. So of course I wasn't going to go.
You have to go to that one. Yeah.
I had to go to that one. So I was like, man, And
you really said he did remember you, or he knew who you were.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. He couldn't remember my Twitter name, but to be fair, I can't remember my Twitter name half the time. I have to look at it when I say here on the cast.
How did you introduce yourself? Did you say, hi, by the way, I'm one of the people that edited one of your Jazzercise videos?
I didn't even need to do that. He was just like, it's you from Twitter. And he's like, it's so nice to put an actual face to the person I talk to all the time on Twitter. So I was like, well, look at that. I know. And Adam was there too, the guy that played Mick Davies. Adam was in there, and he was just like, how many people do you actually know in this room? And he's like, I know her, and I know her, and I know her. And I think I recognize her, but she goes by a different screen name. So, yeah.
Right on. That sounds like he's super engaged. That's always nice to hear about, famous, idols or whatever. Was there anything what was your favorite moment of the whole con? I know you talked to Ruth McConnell about the 5th baseline, which I found hilarious.
That was so funny. I really thought that line was improv. because of the way that they had the reactions. But she said, no, it was in the script. It was written specifically for the script to try and get, a good laugh. And they just played it off so well that they went with it. She's really nice. I feel like she has my luck because she almost burned her house down and I lit a teapot on fire. No, no. So yeah, we shared that story. No, I guess she didn't realize that there was a broiler. She doesn't know how American ovens work, apparently. Okay. And she had something in the broiler that caught fire, and she tried to call the fire department and was asking for the fire brigade because she
and they were confused.
And they were confused. And then she was just like, my cooker's on fire. My cooker's on fire. And they were like, do you mean your oven?
And for everybody that might be confused, because I think most Americans don't know what a broiler is either. That's where most of you store your baking sheets. The drawer under the oven.
I don't know what was in there that caught fire, but there was something in there that shouldn't have been, and it caught fire. And it burned a good chunk of her kitchen down. But yeah.
So she is actually Scottish. How thick is her accent in real life? Is it anywhere near? Okay.
Incredibly thick. Yeah. But nice. Good, like in a good, not hard to understand way, but she's got a very thick Scottish brogue.
Pretty Scottish redhead. I'm in love already. Okay. So was there any other things that were like standout moments that you wanted to talk about? No?
Well, the concert was really fun. We had the Saturday night concert. Do you know the band Slipknot?
Of course.
Dude,
I'm from the Midwest.
The lead singer from Slipknot was there as a special guest. So for any Slipknot fans, it was him and Jensen Ackles performing Wanted, Dead or Alive.
Nice.
And it was awesome.
Were there 9 percussionists?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Slipknot's whole thing.
That is Slipknot's whole thing. But he was guest starring with Supernatural, so they only had the 3, I think.
Sure.
But that was really awesome. No one had any idea. They all assumed it was going to be Jared. I thought it was going to be Jared. I mean, Jared was roaming around Caesar's Palace.
Does Jared sing?
No. Well, kind of. I mean, he can, but he's not the best in my opinion.
Sure.
But they thought he was going to come out and play the guitar because he did that in a convention before, I guess. But no, he busts out the freaking lead singer from Slipknot.
Right on. Gotta love guest
stars. So that was pretty awesome. Yeah.
Speaking of guest stars, let's actually get into tonight's episode a little bit.
All right.
Because we, like I said, called Good Intentions, and we see on the previously on the then segment, Jack and Mary. Finally, it feels like forever since we've seen them. No, I know it was the previous to the break, which was November, so it's only actually been a couple months and only a handful of episodes. But good Lord,
a lot of hiatuses. Thanks, Olympics.
Stupid Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah.
But tonight we're going to do slightly different than we normally do. We're not going to go straight through scene by scene. I figured we'd break this one up into the 2 main storylines because they were really pretty much just the A story and the B story, or A1 and A2, really.
Yeah.
We will start off with Jack and Mary. Show starts off.
Jack, yeah. It starts off with Jack, right?
Yeah. Well, you start off seeing Jack, and he's back in the bunker, and he's waking up in his bed, and you hear Dean and Sam talking about how they don't know how he got back, but man, they're just glad he's back, glad he's okay. And I mean, I wrote, is Jack back home or is he being tortured right now?
Yeah, I wrote dreaming, ? Yeah.
It was a little telegraphed, but that's okay. It was fun watching him be just totally impotent and knowing that there was no real consequence to it. He was unable to break that door down. We never actually saw the boys, so we kind of figured, this isn't real.
Yeah.
So they pull back, and you see that he is being mentally manipulated by an angel that Michael calls Zachariah. Could
they have picked a different, like more wildly different? The only way that it would have been more different than Kurt Fuller. Remember, Kurt Fuller played Zachariah in season 5?
Yeah.
The only way that they could have gotten a more different character is if they'd gone with a female bodybuilder. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, Kurt Fuller is a very distinctive dude.
He is. And I loved his rendition of Zachariah, don't get me wrong. But that was definitely...
this Zacharias seemed to be a little bit of like a low rent Alexander Skarsgård.
A little bit, very Viking.
Yeah. There was a decent amount of medieval type dudes in this one, but that's in the other storyline later. So yeah, we see that it's clearly not that he's back in the bunker. He's being tortured. Michael's trying to figure out a way to get him to open up a door through trickery of some sort.
Right.
Zacharias says, "Hey, fear's not working. Let's try something else." And so we get him standing by a super idyllic, lake scene, and Cass comes up and starts talking to him, but it wasn't quite Cass.
No, it was creepy Cass.
Yeah, even if I wrote down Cass is extra squinty.
Extra squinty. It took me back to his rendition of when he was possessed by the Leviathan playing God. That's super creepy, with the smile and everything like that. It was really good. That was some good acting. And it was nice to finally see. I remember Misha tweeting that picture of them by the lake when it was him doing the frown and Jack doing the frown behind him. So it was nice to see that finally come out.
That's where that was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the thing is, tricking Jack into thinking that everything's great, but that the boys are somehow against him, might have worked earlier in the season, but it's not working now.
No, not after the last episode, not after the last time they were together.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I just wrote down, I said, Jack is smart. You're not Castiel. And then they pull back and you see that Michael is mean.
Yeah. Michael's a douche.
Yeah.
He was a douche in our world. He's a douche in that world.
Well, there's a line from the other storyline, the Sam and Dean storyline, where Castiel says, "That's what Michael does. He does war.
Mm-hmm. He doesn't know how to do anything else, apparently."
When the Almighty Creator creates you for one purpose, that's the purpose that you stick to.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, with some minor exceptions. So yeah. Michael decides, hey, fear's not working, peace and love isn't working, so you've had your chance, my turn. Overall, I was kind of surprised that Zachariah's whole mind meldy thing was even working, and we kind of see this later on, but Jack's a Nephilim. Shouldn't he be more powerful than everybody else there?
Yeah, and they did explain it later, and that made sense to me.
They did.
But how do they have it specifically worded to where it affects him, but not them?
Yeah.
That's what I didn't understand.
Yeah. Minor details.
Yeah, minor plot hole we're supposed to overlook, but it was so anticlimactic though. So anticlimactic. I mean, he's knocked out and then he's just being dragged down a hallway, he gets tossed in a room and left. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. He gets tossed in a room by Michael, and it's a room with Mary. And Jack kind of does the whole recap. This is how I got here. I was supposed to come here with your boys, but they got stuck, and I'm here, and I'm not really sure. Yeah, and she, he gives her the lowdown, and then she tells him what's really up, because it's pretty clear. No, he put you in here so that we would meet and talk, and then you would want to save me.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah. And Mary's smart.
Yeah.
Mary knows what's up. But
with Michael being a douche like that, my first thought was, is this the real Mary? Like, I was kind of thinking he may have put him in there with somebody that had shapeshifted to look like Mary to get his trust or whatever. Turned out to not be the case, but
yeah, that would have been a fun plot point. I don't think they thought of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that may have been just too many reaches. You know what I mean? Too many twists. Yeah, too many shapeshifters.
Yeah.
So
they're talking, and they're talking about how Jack's powers aren't seeming to work in this version of the world, and maybe it's the headaches. And she says, "Wait, you have headaches? I have headaches all the time, except when I stand right here, conveniently."
I know, how convenient. There's one little tiny spot.
Yeah, and it's right where they put you.
Right, and it's right by the window that opens up. How convenient.
Mm-hmm.
Would have been a little more dramatic if it was through a wall. So.
Yeah, a wall that led into a corridor rather than outside.
Yes.
Yeah. But which was another thing where I was like, is this real? Are they getting him to trust her? But again, turned out to not be the case. So let's see here. Yeah, I wrote down, is Mary fake?
Would be interesting.
So Jack and Mary, yeah, that would have been. I'm happy with the way it turned out. I'm glad it was the real Mary. Jack and Mary take off running, and Michael sends Zachariah and a squad of angel goons after them.
Yeah.
They hide behind a conveniently placed gas tank. I think that.
Yeah. What was that?
Bad place. It was probably like an above ground septic tank or something.
Okay. Oh, yummy.
Yeah, great. Now, neither one are one you want to be sitting next to if it gets shot. Nope.
Not even a little.
Of course, as soon as Jack says, "I think we lost them," laser dots appear on their chest. But it's not the angels that were following them.
Nope.
These
were all humans.
The unkillable Bobby Singer.
My
still
God.
Somehow around in season 13 now. Not a main character anymore, but glad to still see him.
Very similar to the Bobbies, not that much different than this Bobby, our Bobby.
And I really liked the Hunter. Oh yeah. I really liked the interactions that Mary and Bobby had together through the episode.
I do too. Made you wonder if they were a thing.
I wondered that as well.
Or if he had a thing for her once upon a time. The way he was talking about losing John, or maybe he had a thing for John. Who knows? The world will never know.
Well, yeah. When she asks, what was Mary Campbell like, and he says she was a complicated woman. Like, yeah. Oh, he loved her.
Yeah, I think so. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to see what develops. I mean, Bobby never got the woman over here, and Mary needs a rebound from Ketch, so. That was one of the things that we asked too at the con was what is Mary going to do when she finds Ketch not only alive again, but maybe working with the boys. Yep. Exactly. So they asked it to David, I think, and he was just like, all I know is I hope to God she doesn't have those brass knuckles.
The one with the runes on him? Yeah.
The one with the runes on him. And yeah.
Spikes. Yeah. Well, I mean, the dude's comfortable going toe-to-toe with one of the princes of hell, but Mary scares him.
Yeah. And they asked that to Mark Pellegrino as well. Who would win in a fight? Lucifer or a weakened Lucifer or Mary. And he was like, well, if Mary's got the Enochian brass knuckles, he's like, I'm toast. I'm out. And she actually came out too with the knuckles on. It was really cool. I wish I'd gotten it on camera. So, but I was sitting in the wrong spot. I couldn't see it.
Did you tell Pellegrino I love him as an actor?
Yes.
Okay, good.
He is fantastic.
Love that guy. So they get taken back to the human camp by Bobby, and it felt a little bit like the, Hell World version of the Merry Men in Sherwood Forest. I was half expecting there to be like a tree fort with rope bridges. But they start talking about the past, what Mary Campbell was like versus what Mary Winchester is like. And they cover the fact that the Mary Campbell in that world did not make the deal with, what was his name? The original. Azazel.
Yeah.
And crazy. Yeah, it seems like that one decision that she made is kind of what spiraled into this hell world. Because she lost John.
Because she lost John. But it makes you think, so like, okay, so these vessels were supposed to be Sam and Dean. So who were they? If Sam and Dean weren't born, how did the apocalypse start? Did they just go with other special children? Did it spiral into something else and they didn't even use special children and they broke Lucifer out some other way? Makes you wonder, because they were supposed to be the ultimate.
Right, so. But Pellegrino has been around as Lucifer since a long time now, so maybe they found Pellegrino in that world as well. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Interesting.
Yeah, Yeah, so they're talking about that, and it's kind of, butterfly effect. She made a different decision, and the entire world is different because of it, theoretically. Let's see here. As Bobby and Mary are talking, Jack is in the background entertaining the kids and just having a really good time. And first, he's doing some pretty decent shadow puppets,
Yes,
and then all of a sudden, he's doing impossible shadow puppets.
Yep.
That was clever, but dumb on his part.
A little bit, but he's still learning. He doesn't realize they're tracking his powers. I didn't even think of it, to be honest, that they would be able to track his powers. It makes sense.
Yeah. It didn't really occur to me either. And like you said, he's still learning. That one of the things they said when Mary and he were still talking in the cell, she said, "Shouldn't you be 6 months old?" He says, "I am." Kind of.
Yes, exactly. I mean, he's still, and he doesn't know anything about this world. Normal angels, I mean, can they track angelic power? Don't you have to use like big amounts of it though?
I don't know.
I
would think that, Archangel Michael, as the Archangel of friggin' war, probably has a little more sensitive radar than everybody else.
Yeah. So that's why I'm wondering, because I remember, they were trying to find certain angels back in the past, and Cass wasn't able to just go, oh, boop, angel there, boop, angel there,
Right. Yeah.
So,
well, like I said, maybe Michael's a little more specialized since he's the war guy. But because Jack is using his powers to entertain the children, and if Bobby needed any more proof that he's not a bad Nephilim, it should be the fact that he's using his powers to entertain children.
I know. But when you're jaded, you're jaded.
Yeah.
You see everything in a bad light.
Yeah. So. I suppose when you've been, fighting a war with angels for 8 or 9 years, you're probably not a big fan of them. Or even half-breeds. But because he's been using his powers to entertain children, the other angels are able to find him. And I wrote down Angel Air Raid.
Air Raid. Pretty much that's all it was, yeah.
Yeah. I think wasn't there even a siren that went off?
There was, yeah. And then they yelled incoming and had the big fireballs. Are the angels the fireballs? Are they shooting the fireballs?
The angels are the fireballs.
Okay.
We saw that even in the then, like the first time we saw the Hell World, the fireball slams into the hillside and it's Michael.
And then an angel pops up. Okay.
Yeah. And in this case, the first one that hit was Zachariah.
Of course.
And I wrote down, why are the angels wearing camo?
Why are they wearing camo?
I don't understand. Are they scared the humans are going to see them as they're hunting the humans?
I don't even know. But, so they leave. Mary tells Jack to run, and he listens so well.
Well, and my other first thought was, again, Jack is a Nephilim from an archangel. Shouldn't he be insanely more powerful than all these other angels? And he comes back, and we see, I kind of want to read the all caps message that you sent me after that, but there's so much swearing.
I know, but I think we can swear on here.
Yeah, but I don't want to make them have to do too much editing in post.
I'll just do bleep.
Let me let's see here. Hot mother effing goddamn son of a bitch! My little marshmallow has a core of mother effing steel, bitches.
Yeah,
you are psyched.
Yeah. And then I put on Twitter too, and I'm like, that'll teach you to underestimate Jack. Like, there you go.
You called him
because that was epic. I don't even know why. I never call people after food, but I called that guy a marshmallow. And he is. That was he's almost, I don't want to say clueless, because he's not clueless.
Right.
Jack isn't clueless, but he's almost got that same wistfulness in real life, because he was trying to get to the Saturday Night the concert. And I don't know where he was staying, but he was on the Strip somewhere. And he was like, I think I'm going to walk to the Rio, not realizing how far it is. And so he goes to walk to the Rio, and he gets lost somehow. And he's like, I ended up in an abandoned warehouse, and I was trying to find my way out of this warehouse. And by the time I found my way out, he's like, I'd already missed a concert. And then I was on the Strip, and I had no idea where I was, and I had to call an Uber.
Yeah. That's the Strip is huge. It doesn't look huge, but it's huge.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge. But it's the fact that he got lost and ended up in a warehouse. I'm like, yeah, a like, that's happened to me a couple times.
Got that clueless naivete.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see that Jack is definitely more powerful than all those minor angels coming at him, because Zachariah goes to attack him and gets dusted, like Buffy the Vampire Slayer dusted.
Seriously. That was almost as epic. I'll still give it second place to the first death of Zachariah, because there was something vaguely poetic about Dean just stabbing him in the face with an angel blade.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that was pretty special.
And then there's more incoming angels, and Jack just starts shooting them down like he's playing asteroids at the arcade.
I know. Like, here, you want a war, Michael? I'll give you a war.
Missile Command, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. But Michael's going to have a tough time on his hand corralling Jack.
Absolutely, because at that point, Jack turns to Bobby. Bobby, I think is later in the day, is basically saying, "Hey, man, what can I say but thank you? That was awesome." And Jack says, "Hey, man, I figured it out. I know what I have to do here. I have to kill Michael because he's not going to stop."
Exactly. So little Marshmallow has a plan.
And that's where we leave Jack and Mary. Hopefully at this point, Bobby has accepted that this Nephilim might not be that bad.
Hopefully he's not just trying to backstab him later. That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. Well, and I'm hoping there'll be some sort of minor thing between Bobby and Mary. I think
that would be awesome. Cute. That would make a lot of people who write fan fiction very happy.
And I know that I know it's not likely that Bobby comes back to this world. He even calls it out. He said, "Hey, your world has your boys. This world's pretty much just got me." So I think it'll probably just be a multi-episode arc for the old Bobby Singer.
Yeah. Unless they bring the remaining humans back over to this side and just leave that world to the angels. That'll be interesting.
Well, I mean, it sounded like there were pockets of resistance all over the place. He was talking about a hit in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I would think that he would probably stay there to be a pillar of resistance for whoever might be left.
Very true. Do they even say where they are in that world? Are they in Sioux Falls? Are they in the coast of Maine? Because they were in Maine.
Yeah, I would think they would be in. Okay, so the transition from the abandoned shipyard to Mary's prison was in South Dakota.
Sioux Falls. But they met Bobby.
That doesn't necessarily mean that it's in the same place physically.
That's weird. Very weird. Very weird.
Yeah, and because when last season when they had the doorway when they met Bobby before, that was in Maine. You're right. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that the gateways necessarily are synced up geographically between worlds.
I don't think so either.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was just one of the two major storylines in this episode. The other one includes the boys and Cass and Donatello. Poor Donatello.
I knew that character wasn't going to last. I mean, you can't have a soulless character last that long on the show. And he was a royal douche this episode, but he played it so well. I'm going to give that actor some props, man. He played that maniacal, crazy guy like nothing.
I know I call this out every time he's on the show, but I know that he's a really good actor because I have hated him ever since he raised Angel's son in a hell dimension.
Yes. Yeah.
Like
also really good actor.
An actor is good when they can make you just hate their character.
Yeah.
And I really have never liked Donatello. And that was even before Amara ate his soul. But so the start of that storyline is we see Donatello working on the demon tablet, and he is getting all freaked out. And it was
like vibrating to him. That was really weird.
Well, it's been a while since we saw Kevin Tran working on the Angel Tablet before, or was that the Demon Tablet as well? Oh, no, that was the Angel Tablet. Was it the Demon? Yeah. And I remember some weird stuff going on with that, but I don't think it was nearly like we didn't get the vibrating zoom in and out.
I mean, he went a little crazy.
But that's mostly because he was locked in an abandoned ship for like months.
That is still one plot line that bugs the crap out of me. You have this bunker. Why is he sitting on a houseboat by himself with no guards? Like, what was that all about? That made no sense to me at all. I mean, they even called it out in the next season when they finally brought him to the bunker. He's like, yeah, we really should have brought you here sooner. And I'm like, you think? Like, come on.
And the production crew's like, I mean, we built this set. We had to use it for something.
Yeah.
But then we cut over to the boys in the kitchen, and it is so much bacon. Oh.
Don't you think you should ease up on the nitrates? And he's like, nope, if this is what's going to take me out, it's good.
This is the bet. Yeah, my favorite Dean line of the episode. If bacon's what kills me, I won.
No, my favorite was ask them where they got the loincloths.
that was pretty good too.
That was just so ridiculous. And he's just like, Dean, like, come on.
Yeah, so Donatello has, he's seeing all this crazy stuff going on with the demon tablet, and he tells the boys, hey, I figured out your spell. And he gives them a list, and they should have known something was up as soon as they're like, this looks easy. Like, we have most of this.
Yeah, that should have been clue number 1. Clue number 2 should have been the fact that you needed to summon some ridiculous ancient Viking gods, because it's like the whole time they're talking about Archangel Grace, Archangel Grace, Archangel Grace, and then suddenly you don't need that.
Well, that was the one thing that made me think that it might have been real. Getting the grace of an archangel is roughly equally as hard as finding demigods that have been banished for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be at least one nearly impossible thing. But this one turned out to not be all that nearly impossible. Like, that seemed pretty easy overall. Yeah. Disturbingly easy.
So should have been clue number 1.
Yeah. And that is that they need the hearts of Gog and Magog, which for some reason I had always thought were demons. Even Cass says, I never, yeah. Even Cass says, I never thought they were human.
Mm-mm. But they were so ridiculous.
They were great. I wanted them to live.
I wanted them to live too. It's just, when the two of them were fighting in their language and Cass was having to translate, did that not take you back to Monty Python?
I wrote down, let's see here. There we go. Gog and Magog fight like brothers, and at least one of them is a feminist.
Yes, very much so. Well, the first thing I wrote down from that thing was, who got Dean to talk about feelings? I sent you a picture of that.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what you were referencing there.
Yeah, it was when he was talking to him about being locked up and all that stuff. And I'm like, who got Dean to willingly talk about feelings?
Yeah, maybe he had too many breakfast beers.
Maybe. But then I wrote, and there he goes. He's freaking 12 and he's laughing at loincloths. So I guess that lasted.
So yeah, before they even go to summon Gog and Magog, we've got Dean and Cass. Dean is willingly talking about feelings. And yeah, they're talking about why Cass is back, why Jack brought him back. How Cass thinks maybe he's there to protect Jack, or he needed to protect Jack. But he might just be there to prepare for war, because war is what Michael does.
Right. Which is totally what Jack thought when he summoned him back. No, that's just a happy accident. You were brought back because a sad little boy was missing the one person he had a connection to. That is why you were brought back.
A sad, immensely powerful little boy accidentally got what he wanted. Yeah.
Right. Now, unless the cosmic entity knew that Michael was preparing for war and was trying to save this earth, and that's why he elected to return Cass, that is a very convoluted plot line, but I could buy it.
By cosmic entity, you mean sarcastic void Cass?
Yes.
Man,
yes.
I want to see that guy again.
I do too. I really do too. So...
So yeah, they in order to summon Gog and Magog, they need to go out to, the summoning says they are in a place with no place, in a time with no time. So of course that means the middle of the woods.
I guess I don't even know. What even state were they in? Were they in Kansas? Were they?
I would assume like they couldn't have been too far from the bunker.
Right. I don't know. With Dean, the way he drives, how does that guy not get speeding tickets? How do you never get pulled over by the dang cops?
How has he never gotten a DUI?
That is what I'm saying.
And look, because if he ever gets pulled over and they have any reason to search the car, he's never coming back. Got
Nope.
a trunk full of weird stuff.
Yep.
And a rocket launcher.
Yeah. I mean, I know it's got the false bottom, but come on.
Right. Yeah. Not exactly hard to find. As Castiel is summoning Gog and Magog, I wrote down, angel language sounds dumb.
I love it. It does. Maybe it's just Misha talking, though.
I think it's like every word is only 2 letters.
Yep.
It's just weird sounding. So yeah, they summon Gog and Magog, and as you said earlier, Dean looks at him and goes, they're wearing loincloths.
I know. He's 12. He's freaking 5. This is a man who literally, this is his 40th birthday today, Jensen Ackles. It's his 40th birthday today, and he's giggling at loincloths like
That's
a 5-year-old.
Yeah. That's funny, because I still remember the first time I saw him on Dark Angel way back in the day.
I know. He doesn't really look that much different, to be honest.
Really doesn't.
Really doesn't. Jared looks like he has evolved.
Jared has aged. Dean really hasn't.
Yeah. He really hasn't. And I don't mean that Jared looks bad, but he's definitely grown up from that fresh-faced kid on Gilmore Girls to what he is now, you know.
Yeah. Whereas Jensen could probably still step back in with Jessica Alba and kick some weird Seattle ass. Yeah,
pretty much. Pretty much. The only thing that's different is his face has gotten a little leaner. That's about it. He's lost the baby fat. I don't miss it. Just saying.
So yeah, Gog and Magog, like I said, fight like they're brothers, because in the middle of giving an ultimatum in an ancient language, one of them says, you know, whichever warrior summons us, we must fight him, and the other one goes, or her, and then they start just bickering, which was great.
Where are your armies? He wants us to bring armies. We don't need armies.
And one of them says, okay, which one are you going to kill? He goes, I'll kill the pretty one. And the other one goes, they are equally pretty.
Yes, then the smaller one.
And I was kind of expecting him to go, which one is smaller? Because they're roughly the same size.
They are. Yeah, Jensen's a little bit taller, but he kind of slouches because of his legs. So I think him and Misha look more equal than him and Sam do. But that was really funny. So according to the guy on the left, because I don't remember who was Gog and who was Magog.
We didn't know.
But the one on the left apparently thought Misha was the pretty one. So
guess so. Yeah. So they fight him, and the fact that they were expecting armies to have to fight them kind of set high expectations for the fight. Dean kills both of them pretty quickly and easily.
Yeah.
Even after his angel blade gets exploded. Yeah,
that was funny. Yeah. And then they were stealing the gods' weapons. Always a good idea.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, take it from Sauron. You know, what kills Sauron? His own weapon, you know? And throwing the ring at Mount Doom.
And it was kind of Gog and Magog's own fault, because at one point, they're the one that said, oh, yeah, these blades were forged by gods. Because he's like, what the hell happened? What happened to my angel blade? And the other, the guy said in the ancient language, oh, yeah, our blades were forged by gods. Like, oh, well, then I'm going to take that. Yeah, seriously. But Dean is a good fighter. I mean, I think his best fight scene was back in season 9 when he's at Kane's house and he gets jumped by all those demons and he takes out like 6 of them on his own. Mm-hmm. As a human. I mean, don't underestimate him. So he kills both Gog and Magog, and they needed their hearts for the spell that Donatello told them about, but it turns out they're golems. No hearts. Made of sand and rock, no hearts at all. And apparently something that angels thought were extinct, so that might be fun. At least since the flood. But that could be a sign of something to come. I mean, isn't Asmodeus attempting to bring back things that were locked away from the time of the flood? Right. I think these ones specifically, though, they gave a little bit of their backstory and said that there was some ancient sorcerer that locked them away in like a pocket dimension. Interesting. Well, it could be a fun plot line if they. I mean, because he was unwillingly working for Asmodeus. I still don't remember what was the name of the stupid things that Asmodeus was trying to summon before. I got rid of my old notes. Do you remember? Asmodeus.
I'm calling them demogorgons, so no.
That's right, I remember that.
I'm sure I could Google it real quick, but
Yeah. Oh, the Shadim or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, not important yet, but I'm sure they'll come back up again at some point. So they go back to the bunker after having killed Gog and Magog and realize they're not after what they thought they were after. And they find out that Donatello has attacked Sam, and he hit him pretty hard with that bottle a couple of times. I kind of thought he was going to be out.
Number one, out. Number two, how did Sam not hear that loud freaking and I'm like, are you kidding me? He's standing like 4 feet from that freaking phone and he doesn't hear it?
Yeah. Even if your phone doesn't vibrate, you hear that stuff.
Yeah, I was actually expecting Sam to be all tied up, like when he was when they walked in. I'm a little tied up here, and I thought Donatello was going to be in there.
I'm not kidding. That's exactly what I thought he was going to say.
Yeah, and then
sorry, I've been a little tied up.
And then Donatello is just going nuts in the other room.
Mm-hmm. And it's been a while since they've used that little, back of the library imprisonment room.
Yeah, he was just freaking going to town with the tablet.
So my initial thought was that Donatello was under Asmodeus's spell at this point, but it turns out, discussing it with Cass, that it's more the fact that he, as the prophet of God, read the demon tablet without a soul to buffer him from all the evil in it.
Yeah, and that's what blew my mind, because he's like, Cass was legitimately surprised that Donatello didn't have a soul.
Yeah.
So can angels not see that? Because remember, he didn't know Sam was soulless, or supposedly didn't know Sam was soulless.
Apparently not.
When he brought him back. So can angels not sense souls?
They seem to be able to tell each other very easily, regardless of what vessel they're in. But apparently they're not great at seeing souls.
Okay, well that makes sense then, I guess. Because remember back in season 5, they were eating the souls. They were feeding them to famine. And he recognized that it was a human soul when they opened it up and it went to heaven. But I guess he can't see them if they're in the body?
Yeah, it seems like if it's a human body without an angel in it, they can't tell what else might be in it.
Oh, man. Because that blew my mind. I was like, I thought he knew. Like, how did he not know that he was soulless? So
yeah. But Donatello's lack of a soul is definitely a problem at this point, because he did read the entire angel tablet, learned everything that he could learn from it, but he's a twisted wreck now. He's not willing to help them. He's paranoid as hell, and he's basically thinking that they're just there to use him. And you know what? He looks at Dean. He goes, "You're supposed to be dead." He goes, "Yeah."
Yeah. Like, yeah, sucks to be you.
Somehow he was able to cast a little spell at Dean, even through the warding circle there. Demon tablets apparently
got
have
all
powers.
the power of it. He's got all the knowledge of the angels. I guess he just knew how to whip it up.
Yeah, and as soon as he hurts Dean, Cass is like, "You know what? I'm done with this."
Yep.
And despite the, I know, right? Despite the moral objections of the boys, he goes in and he takes care of business.
He does what he needed to do, and I am sorry, but that is what needed to be done. And I think that they'll come to realize it. But Donatello was gone. Donatello was gone the moment that
Amara ate his soul.
Amara ate his soul. It was, you knew he was going to die. The one other person that I can think of where Amara ate his soul, the guy from the Lizzie Borden house. I mean, that guy went to jail, right?
Yes.
He willingly put himself in jail because he knew he was going to be a danger. He knew eventually he was not going to be able to control the, passivity or whatever, and he was going to hurt people. So he put himself in jail and casted.
Which to me was a little contradictory. Like, if he didn't have a soul, he shouldn't have cared that he didn't have a soul. But, whatever. I recognize that he still had his training and his desire to avoid complication. Yeah.
Because I think it's like what Sam had when Sam was soulless. Like, he knew what he was supposed to be doing. He just didn't care. He was only doing it because he was trying to be normal for Dean.
Yeah. exactly.
Yeah, to fit in. So
Cass goes in there, and have we ever seen Castiel take off the overcoat to do something before?
very rarely. It's been
Because
like 2, maybe 3 other scenes.
I wrote
Yeah.
down with 3 exclamation points. Cass takes off the coat.
I know. A lot of people were on that on Twitter. Cass takes off the coat. Oh my God, he's naked. Yeah. But yeah, there was one scene in
His actual body is made of navy blue suit.
yeah. One scene, I believe, in season 10 when he's in the motel, the one where Gabriel pops up in the hallucination. He had his coat on the bed and was on the phone. And then the one time he was homeless and he had to wash it.
Yeah. But yeah, in this case, he took it off because he meant business. And he knew that, and Donatello even says, I've got too much power in my brain. If you go and do, strip the knowledge out of my mind, it could kill both of us. Castiel says, you know what? I'm going to take that risk. And he does it. He pulls all that knowledge out of Donatello's head, leaving him brain dead. At which point, he knows all the demon tablet stuff, which is helpful.
Yeah.
But at this point, what I wrote down, the boys get mad at him. And what I wrote down was, Dean wants the moral high ground at this point.
I know. So hypocritical.
Exactly. There was a tweet that I saw while I was watching the show, I think probably from either somebody that follows us or somebody that follows you. He said, really, Dean? Literally 4 or 5 episodes ago, you were holding a gun to a little girl's head to try to get back to your mom.
Yeah, so no, and he knows it too, and they all do it. I'm sure he'll come around in an episode or 2 and be like, yeah, you know what, you did do what you had to do, and I don't think he'll say sorry, but yeah, that was a big load of crap, and a lot of people are upset about that on Twitter.
Well, I felt like at the end of the episode they had sort of already accepted it. Like this is Warcast that we're seeing now. He says things along the lines of, I did what a soldier does, because that's essentially what he is, or what he was. And it's
about damn time they took him back to that.
Yeah. Even when he was primarily a heaven angel, he was a warrior. He was a soldier. So we should not be surprised that Cass is going to do what needs to get done. And informed now by how much time he spent with the Winchesters, he says to Donatello, I'm going to do whatever I need to protect the people I love.
Oh, I know. Yeah. So you stop hurting the people I love.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Fanfic writers around the world squeed.
Exactly. I know. I was like, that's what I think now every time. And I'm like, oh, there you go. There's a new scene for a fan fiction. So, because he didn't hurt Sam. I'm just saying, he didn't hurt Sam. All right.
Right.
Cass didn't come running when Sam was holding a freaking ice to his face and had been beaten by a bottle. That didn't cause him to run. Oh, no. But
I didn't care all that much.
Here, and he runs from the other room. That was hilarious.
But having all that knowledge, and even with the boys kind of getting it at this point, like I felt like they were kind of already accepting it. He tells them what they need to get now: the impossible list of spell ingredients.
Yeah, I know. This was seriously impossible. I'm like, really? Are they going to be able to wrap this up in 6 episodes?
Let's see, what was it? An Archangel's Grace, the Seal of Solomon. Can't remember.
Fruit from the Tree of Life.
Fruit from the Tree of Life, and the blood of a godly man, like a truly godly man, or something like that.
Of a truly godly man. Like, what even is that?
Yeah, it's not a televangelist. That's all I know.
Not a televangelist. It's not them. It's not any of them. I mean, no. Cass is an angel, but he's not a godly man anymore.
But like they know that. Okay, so 2 of those are theoretically possible. Theoretically, they already know they can find an Archangel's Grace somewhere. Possibly,
Lucifer, they're still looking for Lucifer.
Probably Lucifer.
They don't even know that Gabriel's back. How does Gabriel escape is what I want to know, because I mean, we got the Scooby-Doo episode next, so that has Gabriel stamped all over it. Is it
a Scooby-Doo episode? Oh man.
I believe, or maybe it's not. Maybe Scooby-Doo's in 2 episodes. I don't get the promos online, so I don't know. But I know the Scooby-Doo episode is coming up. Mm-hmm. So that's got Gabriel stamped all over it, dude.
And it's still Richard Speight, right?
It is still Richard Speight, yeah.
I mean, whoever looked pretty haggard the last time we saw him in that cell.
Yeah. Yeah, that man is hilarious.
So they could theoretically get the grace from either Lucifer or Gabriel at this point. They should somewhere be able to find a truly godly man. But like the Seal of Solomon and fruit from the tree of life, how?
I don't know. I mean, we have to think that tree still exists, but does it exist in heaven? Is it in Mesopotamia? Is it in
somewhere between the Euphrates and the Tigris?
Somewhere between. I mean, because we know who was originally guarding it was Gadriel.
Yeah.
But he's dead. He bye-bye. So I don't think the cosmic entity is going to kick him out of the empty.
Gadriel was Tema Pennicott, right?
Yeah.
I love
so
that guy.
Good. I love that guy. They get the best guest stars on this show, don't they?
I just his name alone, Tamo Pennicott. What is that even? What is that?
Yeah. I don't even know. That's just parents picking vowels and putting them together, saying, "This shall be thy name." Yeah.
So that was the episode. What was your favorite part overall? I'm assuming it was the loincloth.
Overall, for dramatic purposes, overall, the speech that Cass gave at the end about being a soldier and preparing for war, Misha played that fantastically well. And then for just sheer cool special effects, watching Zachariah get exploded was awesome.
I like
but I'm going to give it up. I'm going to give it up to the guy that played Donatello tonight, because that maniacal, creepy psycho, very reminiscent of Alfred Hitchcock. I could see him totally playing an Alfred Hitchcock villain. Did not see that coming. So I'm going to give it up to that actor. That was a really good performance, and I won't miss his character, but way to go out.
Absolutely.
So
mine was just that small little moment of Jack entertaining the kids with the magical shadow puppets.
Yes.
I mean, it was a really minor thing, but it showed his character. And you remember how worried we were at the beginning of the season, what they were going to do with that character. Yeah, I think this kind of crystallized, like, no, he's good people.
He's good people, and Lucifer's not going to do anything, and Asmodeus is not going to do anything. I'm going to call him Asmodeus now.
Yeah. You got a great couple of pictures with him, by the way.
He is hilarious. That man is hilarious. He's an artist too. Did you know that?
I did not.
Yeah, he's got a book. He was selling his art at the convention. It was a little bit more expensive than I could afford at the time, but I'm sure I'll get something eventually. He does a lot of Western, very big on the Western, and he was promoting one of his movies called The Love Witch, which apparently is a little fantastic little indie film. I'm going to check it out. But now his character has earned the nickname Asmodeus, because apparently you see his butt in The Love Witch, and he's like, yeah. And then he's like, I guess that's my character's name, Asmodeus. That was all the photo ops that he got, was people they had the picture of that on their butts, and he was pointing to them. And one person actually dressed like Colonel Sanders and was holding a bucket of KFC.
Yeah, you said something along the lines of, you said when you met him, he was like, I am very much not Colonel Sanders.
Yes, when he came out for the panel, he's like, I'm going to say these two things right now. Number one, not Colonel Sanders. Not Colonel Sanders. Like, I don't care that I wear a white suit. The guy is old.
Speaking
and has
of
a white goatee. Yeah. And then he's like, number two, he's like, for all you people on Twitter, not Mark Shepard. Not Mark Shepard. Okay? Let's move on.
Yeah.
The very first question he got was, hey, did they give you any advice on the con, like what to do, because this is your first convention for your panel? And he was like, yes. Literally, as I was walking out on stage, they said, don't talk about Mark Shepard. Oh, well, that's out of the bag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking of all the cool stuff that you saw and pictures that you took with various cast members at the con, where can people find that stuff? I know you were putting up a lot of it on your Twitter. So give out your Twitter and all that.
A lot of it is on my Instagram, actually, at Superwhovian Freak. Some of it's on my personal Facebook if you want to come find me there. But I'm going to finish uploading it once I figure out how to pull it from the Google Drive on the computer. I'll finish uploading the rest of the pictures to Instagram so everyone can see it there.
All right. So at Superwhovian Freak on Instagram, at Superwhovian Nut on Twitter?
On Twitter, yeah.
Okay. And I think we kind of covered mine earlier. I'm at ICZorro on both Twitter and Instagram. guys, it's been a pretty good recap. I really enjoyed this episode, and we're back in the swing for the second half of the season. We will see you next Thursday at
Definitely.
8:30.
Peace.
Carry on.